This is something I've been doing internally. I've been sharing it everywhere because it's what I do. I feel the need to share it again in this clarity on one goal. And now what we really have to do is we have to break it down into micro goals. Because what happens when we have a big goal, I want to have 6 new clients or I want to make 6 figures. If we don't break it down into micro goals, then we don't know our next first step. The first step is clarity on your goal. So what I've been doing with my team and internally, I've come up with this pyramid, triangle. So how do we get clarity? Is by saying no to the wrong things at the wrong time and going all in on the things that'll move the needle the most. So let's just say you start with your one big goal. It's your book. Let's just say, because there was several people who said your book's going to be done in 6 months, right? The next thing you talk about are what are the constraints? What are the constraints or possible problems that could stop you from achieving that? I always love to talk about the things that could trip you up. So if you talked about what would be the constraints of the goal that you presented, could it be the name of the book? If I'm just going to use the person who said book, maybe I need an editor. I got to lay out the chapters. Maybe I got to find the time, right? If you set 5 or 6 goals. I want to launch my podcast. I want to get that webinar done. I got to build the course, but I want the coaching program too. Oh, I want to get on other people's podcasts. And all of a sudden you have all these great things and I want you to do all of them. But when you focus on all of them, say you have 4 goals at once, and if each of those 4 goals has 4 constraints, now you have 16 problems to overcome. The way I look at it in business, because I have hundreds of employees, and what I try to share with my team is the culture of our company. If you start too many things at once, and none of them actually get done. I want to do all of them, but I'm going to collapse them into one thing that I'm going to focus on, because then it's like a rabbit running fast. It's not the little bit here, little bit here. So that's why I've been training my brain more than ever and trying to help the team see we're going to get it all done, but one goal at a time, overcoming the constraints of that one goal at a time. And then if you know your big goal and you know the constraints, then you could chip away. Hey, Gigi, help me name it. Ooh, Gigi, help me, write the first chapter of the book, right? Or lay out the chapters of the book, right? You start chipping these away. And then the next part is how will you measure progress? It's really important to measure your progress. If you set this big goal and you don't measure your progress, if you don't hit the goal, you're like, I failed. I didn't get anything done. We have to measure, we have to create a cadence on how to measure that we're moving forward. Because some of the best ways to move forward is to look in the rear view mirror on the progress that you've created. Right? So if I measure this progress, again, I'm using the book as an example. The progress is I'm going to lay out the chapters. And every time I lay out a chapter, that means I'm moving forward. Once I name it, I'm moving forward. Once I understand the marketing, I'm moving forward. If you create how to measure success, measure progress, then you realize you can give yourself a little pat on the back for each piece. I was scared to do anything except my career. But now I'm brave enough and bold enough to do my own thing. I freaking am enough. I do know enough. I'm a badass. I just need to move forward. But sometimes we think, well, I made that decision, but I didn't make my first 100 grand yet. I'm a failure. No. It's one of those things, when you stack the mini wins, all of a sudden, I have goosebumps. When you stack the mini wins, all of a sudden you turn around and success is a byproduct of many wins. And remember, we all move at our own pace. Those of you that have been with our family, isn't it crazy sometimes you see somebody like this weekend? I don't know if you saw, there was people who literally enrolled on Friday and Sunday they had 2 sales. Did you see that? Like the chat was blowing up when people got my first sale. I don't think I could do that. I'm probably in the middle. I go all in. But we've been doing this long enough that we know we got some people that go all in, don't sleep, they get it done. Other people are a little more cautious, takes a little more time. Maybe they're 3 months, 6 months. And we have so many family members that have been with us for years. And it took them a year. And now all of a sudden they got $1 million a year business, but it took them a year to get their first one. This is not a culture of perfection. And it's not a culture of comparison. It's a culture of progress. It's a culture of progress. As long as you're moving forward, as long as you're doing a little more today, as long as you're like, that technology scares me, but I'm going to take the tutorial. I'm a little unsure of you, but I'm going to do it anyway. That's progress, and that's what feels good. Life is about progress. Everybody thinks it's good when we get to the end. No, everybody gets to the end. They want to go back. They want to be in the middle of the journey. These parts, this little bit of hard work can result in something so amazing. And someday we'll look back and say, I took uncomfortable action. I didn't give up. I measured my progress. I overcame my constraints. I hit my goals one at a time. If you know your goal and you know the constraints that you need to overcome, you measure moving forward, then here's the big one, a deadline. We all need deadlines. My daughter just graduated 12th grade. If I think about my daughter all through high school, if she had a paper due at 8 o'clock on Monday morning, usually Monday morning she'd set her alarm at 4 o'clock and get it done, right? Because she had a deadline. Everything should have a deadline. You went with a big goal, a 6-month goal, right? But here's what I want to share with you I think is really important. Your 6-month goal should be broken down into micro goals, right? It should be broken down into micro goals. So I used a book as an example, but what is the goal of this week, right? What is the goal? Maybe the goal of this week is to get inside Mastermind and start working with Gigi. Again, some of you are in the Mastermind business system where you're going to be building the course, you want to do your thing, you start working. And some of you are just in Mastermind, you're going to adapt a mastermind mindset, a success mindset. You're going to start using Gigi to shift from where you are to where you want to be. Whatever it is that you want to do, start setting micro goals. Decide what the constraints are of those micro goals. If you're like, well, I'm not quite sure how to log in and use Gigi effectively, great. Then schedule a call, mmonboarding.com, and go through and ask questions, go through live, right? Like ask and get those problems. But whatever the constraints are, this is overcoming constraints. This is really the resourceful part. Measure your progress on the micro goals. And what are your deadlines on the micro goals? The second one is shrink the goal into daily actions. What's the minimum version of this action that you could do every single day? What can you do every day? And how can you schedule it? When people say they don't have time, it just means it's what you're choosing to spend your time on. Prioritizing time, if it's every day, if it's every other day, if it's weekends, if you got to get up an hour earlier, and even if it's an hour a day, there is nothing like fully committed, focused time on these goals, right? So if you say, hey, every day between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., whatever the time is, or 7, 9 at night, before I start my day, I'm not going to get distracted on my phone. I'm not going to check emails. I'm going to find a place and a time, and I am going to get this done. This is my micro goal of the week, and it's an hour a day. Again, it's really like Kaizen. The definition of Kaizen, right, is one micro step at a time, right? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you run a 1,000-mile race? One step at a time. How do you build an empire over 18 months? It's one micro goal and commitment at a time. Small daily actions that accumulate. Again, I know all of you don't have 8 hours a day you don't know what to do with. Maybe some of you do. That would be fantastic. But the rest of us, we have to cut the distractions, say no to the things that don't serve us, replace those with actions on your goals moving forward. The third one is, why not anchor it to your identity? Because your identity drives behavior. We could shift our identity at any time we want. I've done it. Do you know, I've been talking about meditating for like 3 years. I just want to put meditation in my life. I have friends who do TM meditation and others, and they love it. And I had to stop saying it, and I just said, hey, when you're ready, you'll do it. Because I didn't like that only part in my life when I kept saying I was gonna and I didn't, because it felt against my identity. So I think we have the opportunity to change our identity immediately. Like, it's from this point forward, I am that person that says when I'm gonna do it, I just do it. If at first it doesn't succeed, I do it again. When people say you're nuts or it's the wrong industry, great. Hope you doubt me even more, right? We have the coolest opportunity to shift our identity in ways. I wrote a book called The Underdog Advantage. My biggest book was 2 books ago, was The Millionaire Success Habits. It's well over 1 million copies. I wrote The Underdog Advantage. I wrote that fast. We never even did a big promotion. I wrote it really for me and want to share with my kids. And in there, what I talked about is this shift. The underdog, I feel the underdog's got the greatest opportunity ever, because most people don't see you coming. Most people doubt you. And what if you see some of the most successful people in the world, weren't they the damn underdogs? Weren't they the ones that took minimal amount of resources and turned them into resourcefulness and thrived? If you think what you're dealing with is hard, go Google some successful people. I guarantee you'll find someone that aligns with your heart, that went through hell and back, but they found a way to use being an underdog as their advantage. So the only reason I brought the book up, and I remember when my Uncle Larry said, hey, you need a college degree to this, you need millions of dollars. I remember him saying, you need to trademark your idea and you need an official business plan. I didn't know any of this stuff he was talking about. I'm like, I just want to share what I know, help people go faster. Overwhelmed me with all this stuff, and I started doubting myself. And I remember, I should say this, when I wrote the book, I don't remember the exact time it was, but I can remember a time when people's words on the outside affected me in a negative way. Maybe they're right. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I didn't go to college. I have ADD. I have dyslexia. You know, everybody in my family, no one's ever made over 40 grand a year. What the hell am I I can remember it affecting me. But there was this switch, and I thank God, the universe, because I can't say I did this system, but there was something that switched, and there was a time that whenever anybody said that, it turned into fuel. Like, and what I remember thinking is, it's still the same crap. I still am that same guy. I still didn't go to college. I still didn't do those things. But now their words, instead of being an anchor, were the wind behind my sail. It's like, oh, really? You're going to doubt me? And I would never say anything out loud. I'm like, I know, I get it. It's probably not that easy. And in my head, I'm like, oh, this is going to stink so bad when I absolutely crush it. This is going to hurt in the invisible for you so bad because you doubted me. Cool. And it's still to that day, that way to this day. So we could shift. The reason I'm saying that is my identity wasn't always that. And then you get proof of concept. Every time they tell you no, and then you actually do it, you go, well, shit, they're wrong. And the reason they probably don't do it is because they listen to the wrong identity. They listen to the wrong behavior. They listen to the outside voices. One of my favorite lines I've been sharing forever, I probably heard it 30 years ago, is they don't make statues of critics. They make statues of the crazy ones, the dreamers. But when time allows, think of all the things inside Mastermind as Christmas presents. That at any time you need a little identity, you need a little power, you can go to an inner circle, you can go to a course, you can go to a training, they're there. Listen, it's built in a way that Tony and I wish we had it when we first started. If you're shifting your identity, I would just have you write down that you're the kind of person that does what, right? I'm the kind of person who, I'm the kind of person who prioritizes my future, my health, so I can show up to be the best version of myself, right? I'm the kind of person that's willing to learn a new skill. Please don't judge yourself from the past. You can create a new identity in any moment, at any time, and just decide to stick to it. You have had so much success in your life. You've done so many incredible things. You've overcome so many obstacles. You've mastered certain areas of your life. This might just be a little new to you, and anything new feels a little uncomfortable. So what I'm trying to do today is just anchor you in to see what's possible when you're connected to something bigger than yourself. When we make these micro shifts in our lives, in our thinking, in our beliefs, in our values. The fourth one is deciding when and where. But I would decide on a time and then a location. Sometimes when I want to be creative, I'm at my office. I come to the office every day. I love being in the office. I love being here with the team. But sometimes when I'm in the office, if I want to be in a creative space, I'll get, hey, Dean, you got a minute? Hey, Dean, I want to show you this project. Hey, Dean, what about this? Dean, what about this color, this thing, this? And I love interacting with my team. But do you ever notice when you're trying to get in creative mode, if you're disrupted, like every 20 minutes, you really can't get into the flow? So what I want to tell you is when I want to go in creative mode, I have about 3 different locations around Phoenix, coffee shop, lobby of a great hotel that's been around forever. There's never anybody there because it's an old hotel. It's next to a fireplace, even though the fireplace isn't on, it's the feeling. And I go there, I jam earbuds in so people don't think I'm rude and not talking to them. I get myself a hot green tea, I get a water, I get a couple snacks, and it's like a trigger. It's like, this is creative time. Set a time that you're gonna do it. But if you find the right hotel, like they'll come by and they'll ask you if you want water or food every once in a while. So you got somebody, and usually you can find a place to hide that's not like in the main where everybody walks in. There's always a cool couch. They always got Wi-Fi. They got a plug you could plug in. So find the place and set the time and go after your micro commitments because they build upon each other. Number 5. Create accountability. What more could you do to create accountability. We don't want to be the person that says we're going to do something and not. That's our new value system. If we say it, we mean it. If we're going to do it and we put it out there in the world, we have to do it. What's something that's more than just about you? Could you talk to someone in your life? Is it a spouse or someone else who believes in you and supports you, and you tell them what you're going to do? That you share your commitment and say, I'm going to come back to you in a week with the first ideation of my website. I'm going to come back to you in 3 weeks and I'm going to show you how my course is laid out. Wherever you can find micro accountability, big accountability, I think it changes the game. I remember when success was something I was dying to achieve. And I remember thinking, if I could just be around somebody really successful, they'll tell me the secret, right? Like they were going to open up this little box and go, is there nobody around? And there was like this magical thing to success. And then the older you get and the more success you have, you realize small hinges swing big doors. Success is all the micro commitments we make to ourselves. It's picking a goal. It's picking a time to get it done. It's taking uncomfortable action. It's asking for help. It's not listening to the self-doubt. It's not letting the friends that you love and care about who doubt you manipulate your mind. It is all these micro decisions that add up to go, hey, it's Tuesday at 4 o'clock. I'm at the lobby of a hotel. I'm logged in. I'm about ready to work with Gigi, and today I'm going to get this done. So the clarity on one goal, shrink the goal to daily actions, anchor it to identity. We could shift our identity at any time we want. Pre-decide when and where, and then create some kind of accountability where it's above you, it's more than you. And of course, match that with a deadline, right? In just narrowing this down today, pick one goal, overcome the constraints of that goal, one step at a time. Become a culture of progress, not perfection. Set some deadlines. Find some places and schedule some time to slowly move forward. Jump on with our team and understand it. Know that you are enough, that you know enough, that you have all the resources. You just gotta be a little resourceful, and we're here to help you every step of the way.